So, here we are again. Again, it's. I never know what to say after I've been so praising of Tuchel and his tactics, the way he sets us up sometimes. I mean, I never know what to say whenever all of a sudden that just all goes out the window and we have a chance to set things right. We have a chance to pick up points on teams that have dropped points around us. We have a chance to do something and be effective. And Tuchel just steps in and says, nope, throw it out the window. We're not going to play aggressive today. We're not going to be free-flowing and fluid. I'm not going to make changes that's going to help us. I'm going to make changes that just makes it even weirder for us. It makes things feel even stranger. And you remember that Leeds result where it ended 0-0? I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did in that game. And ended another 0-0 result against a team that we have no business tying 0-0. My forehead hurts. I was literally facepalming the whole game. Because it's just like, between Tuchel being an idiot, some of the players deciding they weren't up for today, and then Stuart Atwell, I guess he had a hand in the Super League. He was probably going to be one of the referees in the Super League, and so whenever we pulled out of it, he was like, "Well, screw you. I'm gonna call everything against you today then." And he did until like the last 10 minutes, and by then it was already too late because we were doing nothing. But it's just all of it today was awful. It was boring. It was dull. It was the most frustrating game that I think I've seen from us. Even the West Brom game is like, well, we were set back quite a bit. This one, I mean, Brighton were trying to give us the game in the first half. They gave us 4 or 5 great opportunities, and we squandered all of them. And then second half, they were like, okay, well, I mean, if you guys don't want to win, I guess we'll step up a little bit and we'll try to win. And then we tried to give the game to them, and they just, I don't know, they've never been good at finishing this season, so I'm not too surprised that they missed the few chances that they had. Oh, but it was just so frustrating to watch. But before I get into all that, I do need to address the 2 things that need to be talked about. First of all, obviously I didn't do a review of the Man City game. I did watch it. I unfortunately just didn't have time to sit down and review it. But ultimately it was a decent game. I mean, we did our job well. We set up well enough. We kept Man City from being the free-flowing side that they normally are. Sure, they definitely had their chances still, and we still looked a little shaky in the back at times, and for the most part, we stymied them. It was great, and I thought we played well, which makes this result even more frustrating. And then, of course, the other thing is the Super League. It was kind of interesting because this morning I was thinking about how I was going to address it in the video because I didn't really want to get into all the politics of football and all that. And so whenever I heard that we had pulled out, as well as Man City and Atletico and Barca, I was like, that's good because now I don't really have to talk about it as much because it is kind of, it's not like I'm really rooting for either side. Like, thankfully the fans rose up and that gave me something to cheer for because before the fans rose up and had their say about everything that was going on, it was basically a bunch of greedy rich clubs up against a greedy rich organization in UEFA and FIFA, and we know they're corrupt, and then of course all these clubs, they're just in it for themselves and their own money. So I'm like, there's no good side to this. So then thankfully the fans said, no, this is about us. You're trying to do your own thing and take what we love to watch away from us, and that's something I can root for. So yeah, it was good to see that the fans got the win today, and it feels like this is all sort of being put aside, although more insanity going on and some like people stepping down like Ed Woodward. It's been a pretty interesting day, which again, coming back to the game, it was so dull. It was so boring and dull and made me want to go to sleep, and I'm just like, that should not be how I feel on today. As much crazy, incredible stuff that happened in the world of football, you're going to give me this performance. You're going to give me nothing. You're going to give me just the most dull I think I've seen us under Tuchel. And that's saying a lot because we've had some very dull performances under him. Like, I know a lot of people want to say, oh, no, we've looked so much better. We've looked better defensively. On the attack, we still look the exact same that we did under Lampard. It's been the exact same for most of the games. And unfortunately, we'll go ahead and talk about Tuchel a little bit. Unfortunately, this all goes back to what I was worried was going to happen, the Palace result. Ever since the Palace result, it's been like, that's been the standard. Like, that's how good we are. We took it to... No, Palace didn't come to play. They stood off of us. They didn't defend well. We finished our chances, yes, but they granted us so many chances. They gave us the game, and now all of a sudden, oh, well, obviously after that, Havertz has to be a false nine. Well, this is 2 games in a row that we've not scored with him as a false nine. So can we stop trying that, please? Can we stop giving that a go? Because I don't think it works. I really don't. And then on top of that, now you've got Pulisic and Ziyech playing under him. Ziyech still has not proven himself to me. Yes, he's scored a couple goals. He's still not proven that he's back to 100% that we saw him earlier this season. And today, showed it again, but I'll get to that. And then Pulisic, all 3 of your front 3 are players that are going to drop in and try to receive deep and try to dribble. That's what they all do. It's just what it is. They're all very similar players in the style. And so why isn't Mason Mount up there? Oh, well, he's playing in the midfield. Oh, that's right, because, Kovacic is out. And, you don't have Conte and Gilmore to play, right? They were both on the bench. I've said before, I would like to see Mount maybe given a deeper role if we need to. Instead of Jorginho has been my thought process. But giving him and Jorginho both the role in the midfield. Now you've got one player that's too slow to play in there most of the time. And you've got another player that is much more attack-minded. And probably, he'll work, but he's also not his best when he's back here. He will work his butt off, and he did today. But he's at his best when he's in the attack because he likes to get in behind. He likes to drive at defenders. He likes to cause problem for the defense with his runs. When you drop him deeper, now you've lost your attack. So not only are you going with somebody who I don't think is a good false nine as your front, not only are you going with a player who's not in great form, and then you've got 3 of all the same, but you've also taken out your most creative player from your front 3, and you wonder why we tied 0-0. Yeah, he made changes that made us more attack-minded. You still had Mount in the midfield. You still didn't have him as an option further forward. So, no wonder we didn't score today. It's just as simple as that. It's basic stuff. The subs did nothing for us. You bring on Hudson-Odoi, which now makes us a 4-2-3-1. He moved Christensen out right, had James on the left. All over the place now. I have no idea why he changed up the formation because he did the same thing against Leeds. Switched us to a back 4, went with, I think, 2 strikers or something along those lines, and we ended that game 0-0. And for some reason, he's like, oh, I'm going to try it again, and it didn't work again. So he brings Hudson-Odoi on. Now it's Hudson-Odoi and Pulisic are the wings. You still got Mount and Jorginho, and then you've got Ziyech and Werner as kind of your front 2-ish. And then he brings on Giroud, or first it was Werner for Havertz, and then it was Giroud for Ziyech. And so now you got your front 2 strikers, you got your 2 wings, you got your fullbacks, and then 2 in the midfield. And I'm just like, yeah, it's not working. It's not working. We're still not creating chances. Some of that is on the players because they weren't really up to it today. But also you've got to set our players up to work at their best. And sorry, Mount is not at his best when he's sitting deeper. He's still a good player. He's still very effective there defensively. But we don't need defense today. We don't have to worry about Brighton's attack as much today. So why? Why? Very simple. First sub probably should have been a halftime based on the first half. Conte on for Ziyech. Move Mount forward. Conte and Jorginho sitting deep. There you go. Now you've got a more creative player in the attack. You've got Conte to clean up back there, which then allows us to get forward more often. We don't have to worry as much about dropping everybody to defend because Conte is going to clean it up. But no. Giroud should have been the first one on because guess what? Brighton, whenever we got the ball, they're sitting deep. So what do you need? You need a big, strong striker in there who's going to bully the defense around, cause problems. Nope. Have Havertz as the false 9, so he's not that strong, really not that aggressive, not that physical. So they had a very easy game. And then you bring Werner on. He's nice and physical, isn't he? He tries to run in behind the defense. Guess what? When the defense is sitting on the top of the 18, any run in behind is going to be right into the keeper's arms. So why are you bringing him out? in this game. You bring him out whenever you've already scored a goal, and then you bring him on to be a counterattacking threat because now Brighton have to worry about trying to step out too much and then giving up another one. But they're not stepping out today. They're okay with a point away against us. What was it? I think they said that we've won every game against Brighton at Stamford Bridge until today. They were perfectly happy with a point, so Werner's not going to be effective in a game like this. But Tuchel has it all worked out in his head. He knows exactly what's going to happen. He's figured it all out, and that's why we ended the day with 1 point. Chance to go ahead of West Ham and Leicester, 1 point. Now we're tied with West Ham on points, who we face this weekend. So hopefully we don't lose that one, because if we do, then our top 4 chances are gone. And again, I don't feel confident about our Champions League chances. With as good as PSG are playing this year, I'm sorry, I don't see us going to win that. And first we have to beat Real Madrid, possibly. Unless they get kicked out because Perez is an idiot. But, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, Tuchel just lost his mind today and made it a boring game. But let's talk about individuals because, as people will say, which is partially true, but it's also, the coach has to set the players up to play well. But yeah, the players do have the right to take some blame too. Because, yeah, let's talk about it. So first of all, Kepa, don't know why he was playing again. I don't know. I mean, it's not like he was fantastic against Man City. He made a decent save once, and then other than that, he wasn't really called upon. So I don't really know why bringing him in today. Maybe just to keep him happy. I don't know. Based on his performance today, I'm still saying Mendy's the better option because Mendy looks so much more confident when he's in goal. Like, don't get me wrong, Kepa made one good save today. And then other than that, he had a couple that were whizzing by the post or hit the post and went out, and he's nowhere near them. And anytime the shot goes on target and he's in goal, I don't feel confident. And a lot of it is because he does make it look so nerve-wracking. Because he doesn't move his feet, so he's diving so much instead of moving his feet to get there and then making the save. So, yeah, it just no sense of what he's doing, and it shows. And the thing that he's supposed to be better than Mendy at, which is with his feet, today showed several times he's not that great either. At least when it comes to playing with his feet, he'll get the pass to the right area, but his decision-making is terrible. Like, some of the passes he's making are not good for us. They're putting a player under pressure, or he's sending it into an area where there's really no chance that we're going to keep possession. It's going to a player who's essentially surrounded, and so we lose possession right away. So I would much rather take Mendy's missed clearances into the stands rather than Kepa trying to play and putting us under more pressure. And then to the back three, I really don't understand why Christensen wasn't in the center because what he's good at is being the deeper one and playing out with his feet. And so whenever you move him to the right, now he's not as deep. And anyways, that's a Tuchel thing. But yeah, all three of them, I mean, defensively seem fine enough. They seem to make good decisions. They seem to put themselves in good areas. And on the ball is where we just really struggled today. The passes weren't good enough. They were not quick enough moving the ball. They weren't quick enough getting rid of it. They put ourselves under a lot of pressure and stopped a lot of our attacks. There were moments where it felt like, okay, we've got it. Hey, find that pass, find the little lane. We got this. Nope. Back around, and here we go again. the little U that we like to make in our back line. It was all in full force today. I mean, the amount of times we made that little U in the back line. If I got a nickel for every time we did that, I probably could have paid off mortgage on a house or something. Like, it was just one of those days where they're so slow in possession, they're so slow to take a touch, the players moving around them are so slow that we have no other option than to just and I'm over here falling asleep again. And all three of them were about the same. Like, there was no real... None of them played fantastic, none of them played terrible. They all decent on defense and all pretty terrible with the ball. So take from that what you will. Jorginho was back to Jorginho level today. He had a couple good moments in the first half, but as the game wore on, looked more and more like the Jorginho that I hate having on the field. Just slow, boring, constantly going backwards, losing possession cheaply, putting us under a lot of pressure. It slowly faded into that. And again, I mean, you're putting him there as basically the sole source of our play. Whenever we have possession, he's the one that's going to now because Mount's going to be a little bit further up the field. Not all the time, but that's typically where he tends to drift because that's where he's used to playing. So now Jorginho is the only one that the ball is going through, and Brighton know to put pressure on him, unlike what Palace did, which is why he looked so good against Palace. It's just, I don't understand how Tuchel can't see that. How having Jorginho as your sole focus of possession in the midfield is not a good idea. It doesn't suit him. I know that's what he's known for, but when a team knows to put pressure on him, he's nullified instantly because he's not quick enough to learn how to play out of that pressure. So, yeah, it's very easy to know how to play against Jorginho. So when you make him the only point of focus, now the other team's like, thank you. We'll take that gift. We will gladly take that gift and we will use it against you. So, Mount, on the other hand, like I said, he worked his butt off today, but very clearly not in his usual position, and it showed. I mean, just from his play in general, like, he still had a lot of good moments on the ball. He still had a lot of good moments where he's working hard to win it back. But his best play has always been in the final third. And whenever he's not in the final third, guess what? You're not going to get his best play. It's kind of a simple concept, but for some reason Tuchel didn't understand that today. So, yeah, just unfortunate for him that I feel like he was basically stymied by Tuchel's tactics today. Alonso showed why Chilwell has been playing. Just nothing from him today. Didn't really provide much. Still got caught inside too much. He was out wide more today than I think I've seen him in most games, but just really useless today on the wing. Didn't really provide anything for us on the attack, and defensively not strong enough, not quick enough to keep up with the pace of some of the Brighton front men. So, yeah, just not a good game from him at all. I'd give him probably a 2 if I were rating on a scale of 1 to 10. It was just that bad. James, a little bit better than what he was, but also worse than he was against Man City. I thought against Man City, one thing I meant to bring up, I thought against Man City, James had probably one of his best games recently, because he's been pretty bad. But against Man City, he was actually looking good. He was strong, he was fast, he was energetic. And then today he went right back into what I've been saying for the past few weeks, and that is he's not good enough. Like, just awful play. Like, he still had his moments, but for the most part, I mean, there's just this lack of energy and a lack of desire, and I don't know what's going on with him because of that. Like, I want to see more from him. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's shown a lot of potential, and yet he still has these games where he just sort of starts trotting around, and he just, okay, here we go, I'm trotting. What it really reminds me of, honestly, is Loftus-Cheek. I think it was under Sarri, is what I'm thinking of, because that's when he first broke into the first team, I think, or maybe not the first time he broke in, but it was the first time he got some decent game time. I just remember watching Loftus-Cheek, and when he was on, he looked good. He was driving at players, he was taking them on, he was going with speed and strength, and it was hard to stop him when he got up to full speed. But he so rarely did that it was pointless to play him. Most of the game, trot. I'm on a trot. I'm on a trot. This is about the speed I'm going to get up to because I'm on a trot. And that was it. And that's what it feels like James is right now. Most of the game, he's just on a trot. He's not trying. He's just there. The ball gets to him, and he's in a good space, but then he's too slow, takes a touch, and he's standing. And then the defender comes up, and I got to go backwards because I got nothing else. That's what his game has become, and it's not good enough. So he really hurt us again today, and unless he steps it up, I don't see any reason why Hudson-Odoi should not be starting over him. Because so far, Hudson-Odoi, aside from when he fades in the second half, has shown multiple times why he is the better right wing back. Because he's willing to drive, he's willing to work hard, he's constantly on a sprint. So I don't know why Tuchel keeps going with James there and doesn't give Hudson-Odoi more of a chance. And especially based on the performances, I really don't understand why Hudson-Odoi is not given more of a chance. But anyways, front three. Ziyech had a decent game against Man City, but today back to Ziyech, from recently at least. Just bad touches, giving the ball away. Honestly, I feel like, aside from that, it's also how many times he wastes our chances that really gets frustrating to me. Because there were a lot of moments where it feels like we're building up ahead of steam, we're actually moving the ball around in the front third, which is rare for us, and then the ball gets to Ziyech and then he has a crap shot, or bad touch giveaway, or bad pass giveaway, or pass that ends up going to nobody, you know? Like he just gives it to somebody who's under a lot of pressure, now we have to go backwards again, and now everybody in the Brighton defense has stepped back again. Like honestly, I feel like you could probably put together a compilation of how many times ZX stopped our attack today with either giveaways or passes that were negative. You could put together a little compilation and just what's the word? Not splice in the song, but like put the song "Another One Bites the Dust." Like you really could just. I think that would be a brilliant video to show just how frustrating Ziyech has been recently. Just every single time he gives away, another one bites the dust. So yeah, just frustrating from him. Havertz had a couple good moments in the first half, but second half really started to fade out and started to look back to what Havertz was, before Tuchel, under Lampard. That kind of slow, not able to keep possession, bad passes, bad touches. It just slowly faded into that second half, and again, I don't know how much of that is he's not a false nine, and 2 games now we've seen that he's not a false nine. So I don't know. Just watching him second half, though, really kind of cemented for me, this is not our best number 9. This is not our best striker position. We have better options. Whether Werner's getting in behind or whether Giroud is just a big body up there. And also, why isn't Abraham involved? Like, there must have been something that happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. Because based on how all of our strikers have been performing, including Havertz, I don't understand why Abraham's not getting a chance. Because it's not like Werner's taken the position. Havertz had the one good game, but now he's not taking the position anymore. Giroud's not had a great showing the few times he's been subbed on. So I don't know why Abraham's not getting a look in, but it's a little concerning to me that Tuchel's just kind of like, yeah, we'll go with Havertz again. That's fine. Because it's not fine. It's not worked for us the past 2 games. So, and that was the thing. It was like the Palace game, it worked so well, so that's what kind of justified him trying it again. But then in the Porto game, it didn't work. And then now in this game, it didn't work. So maybe we should look at the Palace game as more of an anomaly than the standard. Because, again, Palace played us stupidly and poorly. And then Pulisic, probably my man of the match. Just because he looked the most creative and the most deadly going forward. Like, in the first half, for sure he was. Second half, kind of slowed down a little bit, looked a little less energetic and a little less able to keep the ball. But first half showed more of what we saw like in the Porto game, just the ability to keep possession even under these strong challenges and his ability to turn defenders. I mean, created some of our best openings because ultimately our best chances came from when Brighton just gave us possession in their 18 and then we scuffed the shot. But there were a lot of moments where we looked dangerous going forward, and that came from Pulisic. And then, of course, he would give it to Havertz, who would give it to Ziyech, who would then pass it off to, like, James, who would go backwards. And then our attack was done. So that's, unfortunately, like, you look at Pulisic's stats, there probably aren't a lot of stats of him creating chances today. And that's just only because whenever he gives it up to somebody, that somebody, most of the time, didn't look to make another chance happen. They looked to just kind of keep possession. So just want to throw that little thing in there. If like the stats for Pulisic are like, oh, he only created 1 chance today. It's like, well, yeah, but he did more than just create chances today. Then as far as the subs that came on, Hudson-Odoi came on and looked pretty lively, but also we needed a bit more in the box, and it felt like a lot of his lively play was just coming down the sides, and he wasn't really doing much from there. He looked to create a chance, he looked to drive down the wings, but then there wasn't really a final ball. It was a lot of cutting back and then going backwards, or just losing out to the defender because of a lack of strength. So I feel like he just sort of lacked that finishing touch today. Werner, I don't really remember much from him. I do remember an offside from him, which is becoming more and more common for Werner. So yeah, again, I don't really think he was the answer for today, so I don't know why Tuchel thought he was going to work out. And then Giroud came on pretty late and just, he did bully the defenders a little bit, but I feel like, again, I think he would have been much more effective if he had come on earlier in the half. Because then now the defense has to deal with him for longer than just, what was it, like 10 minutes when he came on? Because whenever you have to deal with a striker that's going to put a body on you and is going to rough you up, eventually you're going to get tired and you're going to get worn down. But whenever you only have to deal with him for like 10 minutes, even like the best and most aggressive strikers, like if Drogba came on for 10 minutes, strikers would be like, okay, we'll keep an eye on him, but not too bad. If Costa came on, yeah, he might beat me up a little bit, but I've only got 10 minutes with this guy, so it'll be okay. You got to bring him on with more time to do something, to actually cause the defense a problem. So, again, it's another wasted opportunity from Tuchel. And it comes down to his decisions on who's playing, on his formation. I don't get it. I don't understand why he makes some of the decisions he does. And yes, some of the players didn't step up today. Some of the players took some steps back, especially some of the ones that I feel like took some steps up recently, like Ziyech, like Jorginho, like James. Some of these players were playing decently over the past couple that I've seen them, and then today just went right back to kind of the West Brom game in a way. And just because the fact that Brighton is not nearly as deadly going forward, which is weird to say, like West Brom more deadly, but on the day they were much more deadly than Brighton was. And unfortunately, we also had a ref that was willing to throw cards on everything. But it felt very similar, and after the reaction as well felt very similar to what we saw today, which was just apathy. Just a lack of caring and just, okay, well, touch, play. And it's one thing if you're trying to control the flow and the momentum of the game. Like, I know a lot of people say that whenever we're playing slow, like, oh, they're just trying to slow down the momentum of the game. But the problem with that is, if your momentum is slow, that means your momentum going forward is also going to be slow. And if your momentum going forward is slow, guess what? You're probably not creating chances because you're going to have to be quicker than that. So I never understand that. It's like, oh, they're slowing down the momentum. Why? Like, yeah, don't play rush. Don't rush yourself and give it away. But don't slowly play, because then that doesn't do anything. Like, do I need to speak slower so Tuchel can understand me? Like, is that part of the problem? He speaks that slowly, so they're going to play that slowly? Like, So, yeah, that's all my frustration kind of released. We got West Ham on the weekend. It's going to be a tougher game than this one. They're in better form. They're going to, if we give them chances like we gave Brighton today, they're definitely going to score those. And I mean, defensively, they looked pretty solid recently. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to have a better answer for that game than we did for this one. And especially considering they're going to go ahead of us. If we lose, then, yeah, I mean, it's an important game. So, yeah, I don't know. It just depends on what Tuchel walks out. If it's the Tuchel that we saw today, we're screwed. If it's the Tuchel that we've seen over the past couple games, well, even then, minus the Porto result, because even that one, yeah, we made it through, but we still looked terrible on the day. Ugh, okay. I'm tired, which is why I keep rubbing my face. Like, I didn't sleep well already, and then the game kind of put me to sleep as well, so I can feel my eyes kind of, like, drooping. So I'm trying to, like, keep myself awake for this review. I think I might go take a nap now. Thanks for that. Like, after all the excitement, I actually woke up a little bit today, and then the game was just like, hey, here you go to sleep. So anyways, all that being said, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? Let me know. We can talk about it and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.